So, welcome you guys. I am Shiva Subramanian, and you are watching Troubleshoot Tech, right? Today we are here to discuss about a very beautiful and great technology that is Docker, right? What is the specialty about Docker is that it's a very beautiful technology invented by Solomon Hykes in 2013, right? From that moment, it has just changed the perspective of creating and deploying the applications over the servers, right? We have to discuss all about Docker and Docker technology in depth in the further sessions, in the further videos which we are going to be uploaded. In this video, we are going to discuss about what is Docker, right? What are Docker containers, and why Docker. It is a very important aspect to know that why we are using Dockers, why we have to change from the typical traditional servers, right, to Docker containers, right? Why we are using CAS, containerization as a service, right? Docker is also known as containerization as a service. Why we are using that, and slowly then we will be moving to how to install Docker on our system, right? So as you can see, my base system is my Windows system, right? As you can see from here, so my base system is my Windows system, and on top of that, I'm using a virtual machine of Red Hat system of version 8, right? So you can see I'm going to show you that I'm using the RHEL version 8, Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 8, right? Yeah, here as you can see from here, Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 8. I'm currently using it. And I'm going to perform all the practical lab experiments over this version, and I'm going to tell you how to install Docker over this, right? I'll be also showing you how to install Docker on any other version or any other Linux version if you are using maybe 7 or maybe 8 or whatever, 6 or 5, whatever versions you may use. Now I'll be also telling about how to install Docker on Red Hat version 8, because in Red Hat version 8 only the Docker Enterprise Edition, which is a paid version of Docker, is available. So we'll be applying a little trick to install Docker, the community edition of Docker in Red Hat version 8, right? So first things first, let me discuss about what is Docker. So let me put it in this way, that from before 2013, as you can say, we were using a typical server, right? As you can see, this is the image of a typical server configuration in which we deploy or put all those applications which were specifically made for this server, right? It can be built on any language, maybe .NET or Java or maybe any other languages, and uh, all those things. And the no worst part was that it was not portable. Whatever the server configuration I have, if something happens to that server, if the system crashes or anything happens, then all the data was lost, right? And for application development, it should be specific to that specific system of the server, right? It should be configured within that specific thing or that specific operating system, right? So it is not that much great, right? So that was a kind of monolithic architecture that we were using long before, right? Maybe 5 to 6 years before 2013, before Solomon Hykes gave us a very beautiful technology, or there's nothing but Docker, right? So, but now in today's scenario, as you can see from the image, right, we have many types of services or many types of different applications, right? Like maybe database, the many type of microservices we have. You just name it, right? There are Apache web servers, there are database servers, there are mail servers, there are API servers also. So all these things are made up on different languages, right? They are built on different languages. Today we have lots of type of languages for web development and machine learning things, and also for Android development. And all those things are just put it on cloud for servicing the clients, right? So the portability of code, right, which is not possible over the traditional servers, right? We have to configure the exact same server for configuring any other server. But now it is not like that. And the biggest challenge is that we have many versions of applications, right? We have version 1.1, 1.2, 2.0, right? We just getting better versions day by day, right? So it was not possible for no grouping all those things and making it for a specific server. It was not efficient. It was not that much reliable, right? So we have to make everything so loosely coupled so that we can just uh, attach everything. We can just integrate all those things for better efficiency, right? So the challenges was that we have many different types of things, right? Maybe we have desktop applications, we have mobile applications, Android applications, server applications, we have cloud, and all those things are made from different languages. As you can see in the top of the image, right? We have background workers, API endpoints, analytical DBs, just nothing but databases and all those things. So static websites, dynamic websites. So all those to be managed by a server, but which is to be a specific, right? It is not that much efficient. So how do we solve the portability problem? There is only one solution, which is nothing but Docker, right? This is Docker container. As you can see from the image, right? It is a container, but as you have seen, like it's a container, right? We have seen these shipped containers for cargo, right? So what it does, it is my environment, it is my operating system, by which I can put all those essential things which I want to put it in there, and I have to just run this Docker container, right? So I can carry this container on any other operating systems, that it is totally platform independent, right? I can just run this container on Linux, maybe Windows, maybe Mac, you just name it, and on any operating system it will run the same, and it will provide the same service at all platforms. So that is the beauty of Docker, right? So that's why Docker is a very efficient software, which we are going to discuss in depth, right? In very depth, how to configure our own web server, right? How we are going to use as a local server, or maybe creating our own personalized containers, customized containers, creating our own images. All those things we are going to be discussing in the future classes, right? In future sessions, surely, right? So, so the major thing is the Docker is a container. Right? It's a containerization software. So what it does, it, the Docker container is creates it gives us a environment by which it is totally independent of the platforms. Why? Because Docker runs on over the kernel. What is the kernel? It is just put it in a simple way, kernel is nothing but a middleware which checks and interacts with the hardware to the software, right? So whatever if I do on my software, if it wants a hardware interaction, kernel is the one which does that interaction between that. So it's like a middleware layer, right? So all those containers or the Docker container uses the kernel of my base operating system or my host operating system. So right now my host operating system is Windows, as you can see, right? My host operating system is Windows. So if I run a container on top of this, it will use my base operating system's kernel for running all those applications which I want to put in that container. So what I get is that if I want to run an application or a service, right? What I have to do, I have to install an operating system, right? Sure, everything is done on over the over an application. If I have to run an application, I have to install any type of operating system, maybe Linux, maybe Windows, maybe Mac, right? So the thing is, for an operating system to be installed, it takes 30 to 40 minutes to install, and then you have to customize it, and you have to put the applications and run it, right? But the beauty of Docker is that you can just install your operating system, uh, get in the login terminal, and you can just interact with it. The operating system, it will boot up, and it will give you the login terminal in just a second, right? That is the most beautiful thing about Docker, right? You get your own personalized environment, or you're getting your own personalized operating system in just a second, right? That is the beautiful thing about Docker, right? So if you even see in web browsers about Docker, you see all those containers and all those things only. But my net is little bit slow, so you can simply see that all those images that have been using it's there in the uh, Docker. They are in the net, right? So Docker is just a container applications from where you put all those things over there and put all those softwares in it and develop all those things, right? That is the beauty of Docker, right? Like this, right? You can see the containers over. We can ship it, right? We can ship it over the over the things and all, right? So that is the beauty of Docker. So why Docker? Because Docker is so fast, right? The main advantage of Docker is that it is so fast. That's why we use Docker, right? Because I get my operating system in just a second. Because in corporate companies, that we have to develop and test so many applications, right? So um, we have to create the operating system. We have to log into it. We test our application and we destroy the operating system. So if a normal operating system takes about 30 to 40 minutes to install, and then we have to put the applications to run and do all the specific things, and then erasing it, then again installing another operating system. So just assume the time consumption of doing those things, right? So that is to time consumption, and in a competitive corporate thing, we cannot stand in that if it takes too much time to deploy our applications, right? And as you can see, all of the servers which we are running right now, we are just using it within a second, right? We get our services within a second. As soon as we request, the reply comes, right? That is the waiting because it is working on Docker. So the basic thing is, so for doing so, for installing all those applications and running all those applications, deploying all those applications, we want operating system to do that, right? But installing those applications, giving 30 to 40 minutes, the it's just nothing but a wastage of time, right? So instead of that, we can use Docker, right? It gives my environment, the whole operating system just installs, boots up, gives you the login terminal in just a second. Right? I'll be showing you the whole demo of how to do that, right? Maybe in next session. So that is the beauty of Docker, right? So that's what about Docker, and laterally you will see in the further sessions that how it is, how it actually happens, right? How it actually boots up and gives you the terminal in just a second. You will see that, and we're going to discuss all the from basic to major level aspects to in the further sessions of Docker, right? So let me begin from the installation of Docker, right? So let's go from the basics. So if you are using any other versions of Linux apart from Red Hat version 8, or maybe Ubuntu, or maybe other versions of Red Hat Linux, maybe 7, 6, or any other things other than Red Hat version 8. So this is the command which you can easily install Docker upon it, right? Which is this. This is the official website by which we can uh, download the Docker for any other versions of any other versions for any other versions of Linux, right? So as soon as you run it, as soon as you run it, the Docker will get installed on your computer with the CE version, which is Community Edition, right? So it will not be a challenging thing for you, right? So but if you are using Red Hat version 8, right, as me, right, as I'm using Red Hat version 8, right? So as you know, say hit enter, it will not work, right? It is as I have already installed Docker, but it will say that it is not it will not be It will not be used in Red Hat version 8. Only Red Hat, only Docker EE, which is Enterprise Edition, is only used, right? So what you have to do, you have to create a repository for the Docker to get the Docker installed on your Red Hat version 8 system, right? So how to do that, right? So let me clear my environment, right? So yeah, so what you have to do, you have to go to the etc folder and then yum.repos.d, right? So as you can see, I have a pre-created repository which is known as docker.repo, right? So let me get you that what is there in this file. So yeah, so this is the what to say, this is the website from which you can just you have to set up your repository, right? This is the which is in the square brackets, which is in the parenthesis, which is nothing but a id, which is known as repo id. You can use any name. I have just given it as a Docker. Maybe you can give any other name which you want, maybe my repo or anything. Just for defining, I have just name it as Docker only, and then you have to use a keyword called base URL. This equals to the site name http colon double forward slash download.docker.com slash linux slash centos slash version 7 slash into 8664 stable, right? And then you have to give another keyword which is gpgcheck equals 0. This thing which is used for not checking the digital signatures, right? Because if it checks if it is not written as 0, it will check the digital signatures and it will not installed on your system. So this is the site from which we can get the very basic very stable version of Docker, right? So I'll provide you this URL in the description of the video, right? So after just saving it, right? After just saving it, what you have to do, you have to just say yum install yum install Docker -ce, just community edition, and you have to say nobest, right? So it will after hit enter, you will see that the Docker will get installed on your system, right? And the major thing is that the nobest, why I have used nobest keyword is that it will install a very stable version of which is present in that link, right? So as soon as you hit enter, the installation will start. So I have my Docker, so I'm not deposited. So as you can see, it is the result and it is complete as I have the Docker installed with me, right? So let me clear my environment. So after doing this, right, after installing the Docker, you have to start the Docker services, right? Without starting, because it's a software, it is a service, so we have to start it, right? So how to start the services of Docker? What you have to do, you have to write a very simple command as systemctl start Docker. That's all. Hit enter and the Docker services will start. But the main thing is that if I check for status, right? So let me put it in this way. So if I want to stop the services, I have to write just system just stop Docker, right? The system will be stopped. So I can check status of my Docker running or not. So right now, as you can see, it is inactive or dead, right? And the services are permanently disabled right now. So what I have to do, I have to let's start the service and just check the status of a Docker. So right now it is active, it is running, but it is but the service is disabled right now. So what you have to do to, because after you rebooting your system, after you reboot your Red Hat version 8, the Docker services will stop, right? So for enabling it permanently, we just have to write as systemctl enable, sorry, my bad, enable Docker. So as soon as we hit enter, the it will create a system link to start the services, right? As soon as, even if your system starts or reboots again, the Docker services will be still running. So let's check the status, and you can see it is active, running, and the services are enabled on a permanent stable state, right? So yeah, that's how you can start the services of the Docker, and after that you can use any Docker, any other Docker commands, you can see. So you can simply write Docker info and you get the things about the Docker versions and all. So right now I have one container, so I'll be saying you how to do that, and also stop one container. No, just I have 3 minutes. We'll be discussing all those things, volume and all those things in this thing. And right now the main thing is that I'm using a very stable version of Docker. Latest is 19 something, but I don't think it is stable because it has many disadvantages also. It is still in the development process. The stable version is version 18.0.9, and I prefer to you to just download this version only. And if you use the keyword nobest, it will just download this version only, right? Try to download this version only, right? So after that you can use the simple Docker things, right? So this is the images, right? So I have told you about that. If we want to create an application, to run an application, we want a image, we want a operating system, right? We want an operating system image. So these are the images. So right now if you run this Docker images, you will not be seeing any images right now. It will be empty. In the next video I'll surely be telling about how to get all these images you want. I'll be telling you all those things. And there is another command as docker ps. It will give you the tell you about the some of the process which are running right now. So as you can see, nothing is running right now. You will also get the same thing that you have nothing, you have no any running containers right now, right? So that is the thing of doing it, right? So this is how to install a Docker and how to enable the Docker services. So the next lecture we will be discussing about how to pull the images, how to install the images, and how to get our own environment ready, right? In just a second. That is the beautiful thing. So that is for the next lecture. So thank you so much, guys. Just if you have any doubts in or if you are facing trouble in getting the versions of the ISO images of Red Hat Linux versions, I'll be discussing with my team, and I'll surely be putting the drive link for the Red Hat versions, right? So or if you're having any trouble in setting up your virtual machine, just let me know in the comment section, and we'll be making a separate video of how to install a virtual machine and how to install all those dependencies in that, right? So see you in next lecture. Bye, take care.